What's up, Austin? I got 5 minutes to talk about wine, so how bad can I fuck up? Who knows? So, want to talk to you a little bit about wine. Just to let you know, I run a wine company here in Austin, so I'm not going to try to shamelessly do some PR, but I run wines.com and Personal Wine. There are 600 grape varietals out there, species of grapes. And out of those 600, 60 of them are actually used to make wine. There probably are a little bit more than that, but those are for the freaks. And for all of us that are out there, we drink about 60 different kinds. The grapes and wine goes back about 40,000 years. It is the most and the oldest, most collectible, and most prized beverage that has alcohol in it. It goes back to the time of the Greeks, so Greco-Roman period, and the Greek emperors used to use wine as a way to incentivize their governors to maintain order, collect taxes, and of course, it became so revered that they actually created gods out of it, right? So you got Bacchus and you got Dionysus, because they couldn't explain shit. They just knew that wine tasted so fucking good, and they had to have it, so there had to be a god, and that god was the best god that ever ruled, and he kicked Zeus's ass. And this happened 2,000 to 3,000 years ago. So, of course, you know, when you actually you start to take a look about the history of wine, and you start to step up a little bit, and you go up to the founding fathers, okay? So guys like Washington and Jefferson, these guys loved wine so much they had the shit imported in from France because Napa Valley didn't exist back then. So these guys actually had the stuff brought in, and this is after they just went out and killed all the French guys, right? Then they started to import their wines. And so there are actually a few bottles of really, really old wine out there. It's called the Lafite Thomas Jefferson bottles. Some jackass went out and paid $100,000 for a bottle of it, and then they found out that it was actually fake wine. So you step up, you get up to the 1920s. People started to freak out, right? It's wine. Ooh, it's bad. What's happening is all my employees are going out and getting drunk after work, so my sweatshop isn't producing enough wine. So what's going to happen? We're going to go out there and we're going to say wine's bad. Wine's so bad, people aren't doing anything. There's crime. Shit's just not going right. So they create prohibition. Prohibition sucked. Everybody here knows wine is awesome, and so is beer, and so is whiskey, and they shouldn't fuck with that. Right? Yeah! So, what happened when they created prohibition? They thought that crime was going to go away. Did it go away? No! No! Al Capone went out and capped a bunch of people. That's right. He bootlegged whiskey. And just generally speaking, everybody was unhappy for about 10 years. The economy went into a great big depression. People were pissed off. Herbert Hoover sucked almost as bad as George Bush. And then you step up another 50 years and modern wine drinking became awesome. Here you have a guy who's got a wine helmet. That guy rules. That's a fucking wine bra. I want one of those. And I don't even have boobs. At least not yet. This is for finger foods right here. You don't ever want to sit there and have, to like set your glass down. You want to be able to put a little finger thing up there so you can put your shit on your finger and still drink your wine. That's right. So we're going to get into a little wine tasting, and I know it's hard not to taste the wine in front of you, but really this is going to be how you bullshit a wine tasting, because the truth of the matter is wine is all about what you think. It's not about what some sneaky French guy says and goes, ooh, this is not so nice. So wine, really, if you're talking about wine, the first thing you should do at a wine tasting if you want to BS is hold it up to the light. Look at the clarity. Is it dark and murky? Because if it is, it's probably shit. If you could put light up and it's dark, then it's probably a red wine, right? I guess so. And then what you do is you actually kind of sit there and you stick your big old schnoz into it. And fortunately, I have a Roman nose, so I do this really well. I go, man, this tastes like it's got some wood in it. It's got some tannin. I know tannin, that's a word. It's got some spice. And then what you do after that is you actually hold it up and you take a big old gulp of this sucker. Hell yes. Now, if it's a red wine and it's dry, you're going to feel it on the side of your tongues. Your tongues. I've had too much to drink already, sorry. It's not even 9 o'clock yet, right? If you've got sweet wine, you're going to feel it up in the tip of your tongue. If you've got bad wine, it's going to make your side of your cheeks here. You're going to have that bitter beer taste. So that's how you bullshit a wine tasting, y'all. Just want to say thank you. I love Austin, and I love wine.